Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflicts. My name is Scott. I'm the proprietor of the Council on Future Conflict. And today we got episode 597, Twin City Turmoil and Wars in the Air. I tell you, Joe, I mean, like, the whole, like, Venezuela thing is, like, the biggest, like, getting ready and just wait a second, we just gotta fix something over here. Okay, well, one more thing over here. It's like I feel like it's like a fastidious uncle getting ready to get ready for a trip or something like that, and it just takes forever.
Yeah, yeah. It's a demotivator because you see things happening in the world that you realize are big deals and they're going to cause massive problems, and then the shoe never actually drops. It just
Yeah.
hangs over your head forever. It's the sword of Damocles.
Well, the good news is the sword of Damocles
Whew.
is hanging over Maduro's head right now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of somebody else who the sword of Damocles is hanging over, and this will be a theme of I'm including good news today. Did you guys hear that our boy is awake and responsive?
Yep.
I did hear that. Yeah, that's awesome.
If this man
Awesome
ever
positive news.
if this man ever has to pay for his own beer for the rest of his fucking life, it is a goddamn travesty.
Yeah. Yeah.
More importantly, if we continue to allow people like his killer to roam freely in our nation, that's the bigger travesty.
Ah, yes. I just kind of assume that we've all snapped out of that now. But
Yeah.
you're right. That may be a poor assumption.
Well, we've said a lot of things. We haven't done a whole lot about it. So we're really good at making statements.
And yeah, exactly right. And then just, letting stuff die on the vine.
We were going to arrest Mark Kelly, right? How's that been going?
Well, I mean, that was just what, last week when they started talking about I'm the stuff that I'm more frustrated about is the stuff that was supposed to happen like in April.
Well, I'm gonna use a phrase from the '60s on this. Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Everybody, I apologize that we got a late start this morning. That was I want to say it was all of our fault, but in fact it was mostly me and Watcher. Joe was dutifully cracking the whip. Guys, you know what time it is?
Scott's over here watching Bing Crosby and Dean Martin videos.
Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Peak American culture. Thank you very much.
It is peak American culture, yes. But you know what else is peak American culture? The Council on Future Conflict.
That's
It's factual. Yeah.
That is.
Hey, I pimped our show out on another podcast on Monday afternoon, so let's see.
Very good.
Very cool.
So later on, I'll ask if you came over because you saw us on Untamed Nation.
Ooh.
Let us know.
I don't know that one. What do they got going on?
Well, Tommy Kerrigan is on it, along with a guy named Joe. Can't remember his last name, but it's a pretty good show. Here, let me pull up a link here. Untamed Nation podcast with Joe Altman. It's a really good show. He's on Rumble. I'll just drop the name in there because I don't actually have a link. Untamed Nation on Rumble.
Well, I am putting it out there on X that we got this show is live. Let me do that real quick here. Check us out live. All right. So if you are on X, of course, we get a lot of eyeballs through X, surprisingly enough. Like, I'll check the show a couple days afterwards from time to time, and, we'll have as many as, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 unique views on X. Now, you don't know if they just looked at it for 5 minutes or if they looked at it for the whole show. That being said, it's good to know that the X is providing an alternate way for folks to get the show, and so that's great. Where where is the future conflict at? Well, I will share it here in the chat.
Dude, I am putting out another great rhyme. It's epic. It's beautiful.
Joe, don't undersell yourself. This is poetry. This is modern, goddamn art, Joe.
It is. It is. There are days when I'll start my day talking only in rhymes, and then I get in trouble from someone here because they get sick of hearing it. I don't know. I'm good at it.
Something I do.
Something I do. I think it's a service I provide. I have been informed it is not. And listen, the Laserham, you've heard me rap, and don't act like you haven't. So that's only an in-person thing. We might freestyle and flow a little bit. So.
Yeah, that I can't do. That I can't do. Guys, we're late getting started, so I am loath to get off topic anymore. But since we don't have it anywhere in the actual, by the way, I just want to show this is an illustration of the conditions currently in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Here, this is I'm sure, armed gangs of Somali warlord juniors just running around everywhere. Joe, I've never been to Minneapolis, of course, but Joe, tells me that this is a reasonable representation of what's going on.
It is very close, very close. Hey, speaking of, last night, she got home pretty late, so I was watching Bad Boys 2. And it's the final scene where the Venezuela or the Cuban army, sorry, I got Venezuela on the brain, is there fighting and they're trying to drive out of there. And I'm identifying every firearm in there. I'm like, oh, that's an MP5 SD. Oh, that's a B&T MP7. That's a Dushka. She was like, can you please stop? But I find it to be a good skill, right?
Identification, yes.
I didn't realize that in a movie that old, the B&T MP7 did make an appearance. Had to be a pretty new gun at that time. So,
what movie was it?
Bad Boys 2.
Oh, okay. I'll be honest with you. I've never watched all of one of those Bad Boys movies.
What?
No, never once.
Talk about peak American culture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just here to tell you that I never jived with the whole like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as an action star.
No, the scene when Reggie shows up to take Megan out is a cinematic masterpiece.
Well, I will say that it's very disappointing to find out in all that time he's also a cuckold. So I'm just saying.
I learned very early on to separate actors from their roles, and it makes my life much easier. Not everything in life is politics. The nails it. Suddenly, I'm not sure I can trust anything Scott says.
So no, I would like to make a distinction between like personal behavior and politics are completely separate. And I found this out before I ever watched a Bad Boys movie. So it's kind of like I would only see that when I watched the Bad Boys. Like I found out that Tom Hanks was a total moron after I watched Saving Private Ryan. So
yeah, and Mrs. Tactical Wisdom did not like Bad Boys 1 because she couldn't get past the first scene and the profanity and the ridiculousness. But now she understands the art that they are.
That's funny. Maybe I'll give them a try. Maybe I'll do that. All right. Did you guys see the all the stuff coming out of the Department of War press event today?
No.
Or yesterday, I guess it was today my time, but yesterday your time. So like they had Laura Loomer's in there now, and Matt Gaetz was in there, and I'm trying to think of one of the other. OMG Media's in there. You know, what's his name?
In what? I'm sorry, I was answering the question.
Oh, well, anyway, I was just saying that like
Cam
they've got
Higby
some
and a
really,
bunch of them. Yeah,
they've got a lot of like ultra based, kind of, reporters in there now in the press room. So I mean, but we were talking about this at work, of course, and I was saying, you want to have the other side in there. You've got to have those kind of oppositional, like people asking the hard questions from the other side of the fence, right? So you don't have like a media, like a echo chamber. But the problem is that all the people who were invited in, they don't want to go. They don't want to be there. Okay, well, we'll just let the people who want to be here.
Well, I mean, to be clear, they don't want to be there because they're not allowed to explicitly ask members of the military to break the law. Wow. What a crazy restriction.
Yeah. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to bring up that's off topic, which was not bad, was the Franklin memes that are taken over our X feed. Watcher, can you maybe do a little X search for Franklin and see what pops up? I can't imagine anything much is gonna be there.
Oh, nothing much.
Franklin explains what the Fauci deserves. I haven't seen that one yet.
So good. Go to Voodoo 6 and pull his up, his most recent one.
Franklin trolls the tards.
That's a good one.
So the worst. So here's what. If you weren't tracking these, I think it was Monday, Joe. I think we showed the one on Monday. The
Franklin
where he's
RPGing
the boats, right. And so since then, since the Secretary of War shared that, the publishing company, I guess it's a Canadian company, came out and spoke out against.
This one's the best. Franklin slots floppies. I hope Be Prepared sees this in the chat. So,
but the company came out and said, and basically denounced all this kind of, the using it as a meme, and then essentially everybody in the right wing sphere of X. Yeah, there you go. Kids, here, let me read it real quick. Franklin Turtle is a beloved Canadian icon who has inspired generations of children and stands for kindness, empathy, and inclusivity. We strongly condemn any denigration, violence, or unauthorized use of Franklin's name or image, which directly contradicts these values. So basically, they challenged the meme lords to
remember
make the dankest versions of Franklin possible.
Remember that creator who made this other amphibian character, a frog, who didn't like the way people were using his character and spoke out about it and tried to take legal action and went real nuts about it? How did that go for the creator of Pepe again?
I don't even remember the whole Pepe thing. Was the creator against it?
Oh God, yes. There was a multi-year war against this. He drew cartoons where he killed his character off to be like, sorry guys, can't make any more Pepe cartoons. He's dead now. You have no idea.
He's just upset he can't monetize it. I mean, theoretically he could monetize it, but
the Pepe creator is still ass mad about it.
Right. But yeah, the Franklin has been a great armistice during the Nog Wars. Paul, please don't make us Canadians angry.
That's a good one.
Franklin court-martial seditionists. That's there we go. It's another good one.
That guy bears a resemblance
to a certain former astronaut.
It's the reason why they're called astronauts, I guess.
Let's see, what do we got here? Franklin flips the table at Inclusive Church.
You know what's funny is there's Berenstain Bear in the corner.
Oh, this one is.
Yeah. Franklin grows tired of immigrants and their behavior. Oh man, that gets them all on that one. Franklin meets a
Franklin defends
I like,
the library.
I like the next one. Franklin defends the library. I like how he has a very accurate M203.
I know.
I tell you what, people say that AI is the devil, and I give you the Franklin memes. I mean, let me be honest. You know how long, 10 years ago, you know how long it would have taken this many memes to come out? It would have literally been like 6 months before, and they would have been some rough looking memes too. But here, no. Franklin targets narco terrorists. This is an animated version of the other one. I mean, I think this is the kind of thing, political cartoons is probably where AI comes into its own, right? Because it lets anybody kind of with an idea make the cartoon that they want. And then, it's the Darwinian selection. Oh, this is one of my favorites, actually. Franklin calls ICE on people who don't belong. Franklin realizes the government just keep printing money. A little Bitcoin there on the table.
Believe it or not, we do actually have a show when we start the.
I know. And by the way, yes, James O'Keefe was the one that I was trying to think of that it was brain farting on earlier. The OMG Media. So yes, one of the holdups today was that while we have a lot of stuff to talk about, we were trying to focus it on actual conflict versus just sitting like three guys sitting around talking about politics. And I even threw out the idea of I even threw out the idea of maybe we'll just have a freeform show today. But then no, we got it together and we do have a show. So let's jump right back into it. All right. Enough Franklin memes. Maybe we'll do a little more later in the show. First up, Putin warns Europe, if you want a war, then Russia will defeat you. I mean, Russia has nukes, and I guess England and France have nukes, but not as many as Russia. And, well, I mean, let's be honest. If it comes to nukes, then America would get dragged into that.
Quote, don't count your war crimes. Make your war crimes count.
Putin warned European powers on Tuesday that if they started a war with Russia, then Moscow was ready to fight and defeat the European powers. Would be so absolute that there would be none left to negotiate a peace deal. Almost 4 years into the war with Ukraine, the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II, Russia has failed to conquer the country. A much smaller neighbor, which has been supported by European power. Oh, much smaller neighbor than Russia, the largest country in the world.
But Ukraine is a darn big country.
It is a darn big country. It is bigger than the state of Texas. Maybe about the same size as Texas. Ukraine and European powers have repeatedly warned that if Putin wins the Ukraine war, that he could attack a NATO member. Let me just say this once again. I'm no Putin fan, but Putin is not stupid. And if he were to attack a NATO member, he does risk the idea of, well, you attack one, you attack all, and that could go, as they say, high and right very quickly. So I just don't think that he would even do that.
He could handle most of NATO with air power alone. Because most of NATO, let's be honest, relies upon the United States for ground forces. What does Lithuania have? Like maybe 3 battalions, right?
Yeah, small country, small army. That's the way. I mean, that's just the way of the world. But you're exactly right.
Germany can't field a full combat brigade, and it's a large enough country that it ought to be able to. But it doesn't because it's got America to call on.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Basically NATO subsidized their entire social spending by allowing America to continued to beef up our military while they basically sold off. Like Russia, I mean, Germany had almost 4,000 Leopard tanks at the end of the Cold War, and it has subsequently sold all of them. Well, maybe not all of them, 90, 85% of them. They sold them off in the intervening years. Let's see. When asked by a reporter about the remarks in Russia, in the Russian media, the Hungarian foreign minister cautioned that Europe was preparing a war against Russia. Putin said that Russia did not want a war with Europe. If Europe suddenly wants a war with us, Putin said, that it will end so swiftly for Europe and that Russia would have no one left to negotiate with. Putin used the word for the Russian word for war. He also suggested that the war in Ukraine was not a full-blown war and that Russia was acting in a surgical manner, which would not be repeated in direct confrontation with European powers. What he's talking about is nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction.
Well, and at the same time, he also put out a statement that, hey, if you keep targeting our ships all the way around the world, we're going to begin targeting Allied ships here. And what he's referencing is while the two ships that were attacked in the Black Sea were Russian flagged, the ship that the Ukrainians attacked off Senegal that we talked about on Monday was Turkish flag or Panamanian flag and Turkish owned. So it was not a Russian ship per se. It was just a ship that calls regularly on Russian ports. Sure, you can claim it's a shadow Russian ship all you want, but when your only evidence is that it regularly picks up from Russian ports, that's a pretty big swath of shipping that does that.
Yeah.
So.
Let me get back to the story here. All right. Putin says tens of thousands of troops in Ukraine. Let's see. It's just a recap. We don't really read that. Putin said European states had locked themselves out of peace talks in Ukraine by cutting off contacts with Russia, adding they are on the side of war. Putin also threatened to sever Ukraine's access to the Black Sea in response to drone attacks on tankers of Russia's Shadow Fleet in the Black Sea. And if I remember correctly, there are, I guess, essentially negotiated lanes where some ships can come into Odessa.
Yeah, as part of the grain deal, they can come in through the Strait of Bosporus directly to Odessa and nowhere else.
Yeah. So. PJ's Helicopter Tours for $2 says, in 3 years, when Republicans sell the rest of us out for 30 pieces of silver, how will the EU and NATO extract their revenge on the American people who subsidize them? Well, I mean, the EU will be a caliphate at that point. So
you're assuming that they're going to wait three years for this.
Yeah.
The rhetoric right now indicates no one's waiting 3 years for this. So.
Yeah, Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 says, where does NATO think the 800,000 man army is coming from? Not from me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been looking at Europe in a different light recently. Maybe they are about ready to fall into a World War III type scenario because there really is very little actually keeping their alliance together, and there are many people who would like to break them up. And should such a thing occur, I feel very confident in saying there is very little chance that any son or daughter of America will be dying on European soil this time around.
Sadly, I disagree because guess what? There's a lot of them still there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Americans in Europe right now.
Poland,
I think that would change
Lithuania.
if the war broke out. Specifically between each other, not necessarily with Russia. Although if there's the thing, Russia's only saying if you attack us, right? So
at this point too, Camp Grayling, the largest National Guard base in the country, which is in Michigan, is essentially a Latvian military base. So
Yeah,
we become so intertwined with them that we can't just easily extricate ourselves.
Is that just like a regular training mission that they've got going on there?
Yeah, they train Latvians constantly. They also train Ukrainians, but you're not supposed to know that.
Yeah, that came out in a court document, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks I know who've been in the area at local bars, and they know the difference between a Latvian and Lithuanian flag and a Ukrainian flag. So,
hey, but at least we don't live in India, right?
Yeah, can I just say that my daughter, she was totally out of pocket the other day. She goes, I said something like, "Oh, it could be worse." She goes, "Yeah, it could be worse. I could have been born in India."
There's something wrong with that girl.
Well, she loves Formula One, and she, I don't know. I can't take credit for it all. But, I can't take credit for some of it. Philip Coggins, member for 39 months. With the rising threat from China, why do Europeans continue to believe that we'll be Europe first in the next global war?
Because they're Eurocentric. They believe that everything revolves around Europe, and that's where everything happens.
It like so many things, right? Everybody has trouble thinking from the other person's point of view, right? And what Europe doesn't realize is the American mind has wandered from a kind of a pan-Atlantic kind of mindset into a more of American first, rebuilding the Monroe Doctrine kind of mindset, hemispheric defense as a priority over, continental defense. And so, I think they just don't understand where our heads are at. That being said, the other side of the left or the Democratic Party is very much in favor of globalist continental effort. So this is one of the reasons why we've got to, not forget about politics and keep, good people in office that will focus the military on things that are actual American interests and not these flights of fancy. Entire campaigns designed to protect the Burisma, investments of the Biden family.
Say it isn't so, Scott. We would never do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I'm cynical. All right, India orders a tracking app to be installed in all smartphones. So if they'll do it one place, they'll try to do it in all the places. Because if bureaucrats have been kind of one thing, it's consistent worldwide in their inability to allow people to have any amount of freedom. India, let's see, the government says the rules would be needed to prevent theft and other crime. Ooh, yes, Joe, this is a rule to protect the Indians, not to surveil them. And let's be honest, tracking, when you have 1 billion people, 1 billion cell phones probably in India, they're not using it to track one specific, Rajit in, wherever he may be in India. What they're doing it for is big data, right? They want to see where the phones are moving and how they're moving and who's doing what. And, you're boiled down to a demographic, cohort, and then they can look at various different cross-sectional analyses of different cohorts and how they interact and yada, yada, yada. This is what most of this will be done for. But that being said, when they have to look at a very small area, they know exactly who's in that area and they know exactly what you're doing, because, Joe, I can only imagine this tracking app has all kinds of other kind of bells and whistles built into it.
Well, and I imagine it tracks a lot more. They claim it's for preventing fraud and theft, but I imagine it's pulling a lot more data out of there, right?
Well, we got to be able to hear everything.
Yeah, India has several ongoing insurgencies, including the Kashmiri one, Khalistan, all kinds of different areas where they have problems. And putting this on there, it's kind of important. for personal freedom, right? Governments forcing apps on your phone is never a good thing.
Oddly enough, your worry about flock cameras was realized when inadvertent. What is it? Was it the Democratic mayor or somebody like that?
No, it was a coalition of like 22 Democratic states all said we're going to turn off our flock cameras.
Yeah, they let that out of the bag, right? That, oh my gosh, cops have real-time access to flock cameras,
right?
Even though they've consistently said no, they don't. So
right, and we're not gonna share the information with the feds when they come in, that type of thing. Yeah. So there's information to be shared. Let me read a little bit of this article here. India's government sent a notice to private companies last week, giving them 90 days to ensure that the government app was pre-installed on all mobile handsets manufactured or imported for use in India. The order said the requirement was meant to identify and report acts that may endanger telecom cybersecurity. The government explained that the app was intended to prevent crime, including theft and smuggling of phones and call center fraud that wreaks havoc within India and abroad. Reuters had already reported the order's existence on Monday, and copies were circulated online. Many people in India were in an uproar, as were the political parties opposed to the tech-focused and strong-arm government of Prime Minister Modi. Now, this is not the first heavy-handed tech-centric kind of thing. I mean, Joe, do you remember it was almost 10 years ago when India said it was going to get rid of cash? Like, we don't want to have money anymore. We're going to do everything electronically. Everything's going to be like with a credit card or something along those lines. And ultimately, that's all about. And eventually, what happened was everybody was in an uproar, and then they said, no, we'll just get rid of the big bills. So you only have smaller bills which makes it really hard to store wealth.
Well, when you have the most populous country in the world, any small change is a very big ripple effect throughout society. It's interesting. Ironically, here in America, we're facing the same problem as we do away with the penny. All these stores have suddenly stopped saying, we're not going to give you pennies back anymore. They never said stop giving people pennies. They said they're not going to print anymore because there's billions in existence.
The current pennies in circulation would last 50 years if we do absolutely nothing about them and change no behaviors whatsoever.
Well, the irony is how many people have literally a huge jar of pennies just sitting around the house?
Unfortunately, that is the Treasury Department's point and why they said, "Hey, we need to just finish this," because they're not actually functioning as a useful currency. They're mostly functioning as something that gets stuck in jars.
Oh no, I assure you, if my change is 4 cents, I want my 4 cents.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm just
put them back in the bank when we get 50 cents worth. So,
well, ironically enough, overseas places like here in Korea, when you're on post, they don't use pennies on post, right? And so, but it's a rounding system. So if it's like 42 cents, then you only pay 40. And if it's 43 cents, then you have to pay 45 cents. You know what I mean? It's like
that doesn't make it okay.
I didn't say it makes it okay. I'm just saying that's how they get around like the whole kind of it kind of all shakes out in the end.
No, I think it's a weight restriction thing on foreign.
That's the reason why it is. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why it is. And that way, like when you were over in Iraq and places like Iraq and Afghanistan, it was all
Pog money. Oh, I love Pog money.
Well, the funny thing is evidently those are collectible now.
Yeah, I've heard that. I would imagine so. I kind of had the thought when I was looking at it that like, oh, these aren't going to last very well unless you actually try to save them. Yeah, these will be collectible.
You know the money I would buy just to own? The Vietnamese dong.
You want to have big dong?
You want to have...
I have 1,000 dong. That's worth about 47 cents, but I have 1,000 dong.
Phil Coughlin says he's got some Pog money. Yeah, me too.
Do you know where you should keep your dong?
Go long on dong.
Cody.
Do you remember the Asian character from 16 Candles, the movie?
Yes.
Long Duck Dong.
Dong.
Uh-oh. Trade your dong in Djibouti.
Best place to store it.
Even Janine Rogers is getting in on the action. Do they use the dong in Djibouti?
Yes, the artificial dong.
Gene, you're a bad girl. You're a bad girl.
Counterfeit.
Franklin defends the dong. Somebody needs to get on some AI app and make that one. Franklin defends the dong.
Yeah, I think that one's worthy. All right,
Punch. I think you know the answer to that.
Watcher. I almost I thought about this earlier today. I was like, we should make a Franklin meme for the thumbnail, but
the formatting's difficult.
Well, we just have to format it for our thumbnail, but anyway, all right. I don't want to talk about India anymore. Bulgaria ditches budget plan after tens of thousands join protest. All right, just keep in mind this is a BBC story, so there is obvious biases will be in here. Bulgaria's government said that it will withdraw its controversial 2026 budget plan after mass rallies were held against it on Monday night in the capital of Sofia and in other cities across the country. Tens of thousands of people joined protests to oppose the draft budget, which they said attempted to hide widespread government corruption. Clashes with the police broke out when some mass protesters attacked the offices of the ruling conservative GERB party. Tens of thousands of protesters do not sound like massive protests. That sounds like they're stretching thousands into tens of thousands. Masked men against the conservative government sounds like an Antifa problem. I would bet that there's a lot of German and French Antifa people hanging out in Bulgaria these days.
Well, since they attacked the Conservative Party, I would say it's probably because the new budget most likely decreased benefits for socialistic programs, and that's why you had protests.
All right. In fairness, this picture down here leads me to think that probably tens of thousands is probably correct.
I make a move that in future, all BBC stories covered on the Council on Future Conflicts should be the Pidgin English, the BBC Pidgin version of the article. Are you unaware?
No.
Oh,
they run a whole version in Pidgin English.
Oh, do they?
Here you go.
Few kidnappings.
It's a sight to behold.
What is this? Where do these come from?
BBC publishes them officially.
Because BBC does a lot of news throughout Africa. That's the way Africans speak and read. So
how do I do that? How do I see that? This
BBC
is wonderful.
Pidgin.
That's it. BBC Pidgin. That's it.
I believe they only do it for stories that are about Africa.
Oh, okay. Well, then Bulgaria is not going to get it.
Yeah.
All right. Back. Stay on target. All right. Critics of the abandoned budget plan said they were protesting against increased Social Security contributions. Protesting against increases to Social Security contributions and taxes on dividends to finance higher spending.
So, the next statement tells you it is an Antifa thing. Read that.
Right. We are here to protest for our future. We want the European community, not one ruled by corruption and the mafia. Says we want to be a European country.
We want to abolish borders and become part of a grander thing. In other words, we want stuff for free.
Yeah. Provocations do not change the fact that Bulgarians said no to this government, he said on a post on Facebook. There's only one way out: resignation and early elections. Yeah, Bulgaria, man. I tell you what, another one bites the dust if they knuckle under to this kind of pressure. Yeah,
I don't see any good future at all for people who allowed themselves to get involved in the second German attempt to conquer the entire continent. This one's successful.
Yeah, Pinochet's right here. It's color revolution.
Defense minister ruling the world. I put this story in here for that exact reason. Color revolution season. It goes to my theory of worldwide civil wars and continued increase in civil conflict.
All right.
Stop that.
Sorry. Excuse me.
We got a quick feel-good story for everybody.
Yes. 80. Okay, so I saw this story about 36 hours ago, and I guess you guys saw it the morning after I saw it. 88-year-old veteran gets $750,000 in donations after viral TikTok. Now, by the way, let me push pause on that. Where's it at now? 1.2 million?
Let's check because that was earlier. Oh, it's 1.25 million. 225 million.
So $1.25 million has been. Is that GoFundMe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been pledged on GoFundMe for this guy. So, okay, why does this sad sack need money? Well, this is why. This is how it. Actually, you know what? There's a video. If we can find the video, that's better because you can hear the guy's own.
Let me see. Okay, here we go. Yep.
Yeah. Play that one.
It's on a weird format. It's not.
Well, it's a TikTok. It's a TikTok.
Okay, so I'm gonna restart it.
Just seeing if I could have help scanning this. Thank you. What was your name?
Ed.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
I actually had someone nominate you from this store and said you're very hardworking.
Well, I try to be.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 88.
And still working?
Yes, I have to.
Why do you have to keep working?
Retired from General Motors in 99. 2012, I went bankrupt and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
She was sick when I lost my pension.
So you've been struggling a bit?
A little bit.
You said that you lost your pension?
Yes, sir, I did. I was in the Army back in 66.
So you're a veteran too?
Yes. The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick. And they, when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage.
Yeah.
And all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my God.
So I sold the house, sold the property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
And you're working here how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or?
Yeah, I don't have enough income.
What's your dream?
To live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
I'd like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
So pretty simple story. I mean, the guy he was a veteran, Vietnam era veteran. He didn't say he was in Vietnam, but he was 66. As he said, he was in the military. Probably did 1 year of mandatory service and then got out and went to work as a auto in the auto industry. Retired from GM in 98, he said. And then when GM went tits up in 2010, 2012, that era, and it got bailed out, they had to take back all those pensions. And so, this is a great story because, this is people just, if you go through here, almost all of them, like when I saw it, the highest when I saw it was $2,500. So it wasn't like a bunch of huge donations that came in. It was, a lot of really just regular people, chipping in to help this guy.
Awesome.
Bill Ackman is the top donator right now. I mean, it's just, I think somebody in the chat said it. It's peanuts to him, but it's awesome that that people are seeing this and helping this guy out.
Makes me feel good. It's a good holiday. Get you in the holiday season mood.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. This guy's in the last couple of years of his life, and he doesn't need to worry about anything. Because let's be honest, Joe, we all know some people that are getting on there in years. Life gets harder in the last couple of years, and having some extra money really makes it.
Especially when you get up there and you start worrying about your legacy and what's getting done, right? So worry about your legacy of what you're leaving to your family, what your mark on the world is, and all of that. So yeah, I've been having those conversations with a guy we know every weekend. So
yeah, and if you've got older people in your life, engage with them, talk to them. They love nothing more than just to kind of talk about what you're doing and talk about what they did and share stories about things. And it's like if you got a grandparent or somebody along those lines in your life, they tell the same stories over and over again, and they don't remember what they told you, 2 months ago, but who cares, right? They've earned the right to kind of forget that at this point. So anyway, I think this is great. It was brought a tear to my eye when I saw this. I showed it to everybody at work, and it was very cool. So I'm just going to throw the link right here in the chat. And so if you guys want to help this guy out, there you go. And over in Rumble too. Low Key Larp just gifted 5 subs to Future Conflict. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And immediately they were hoovered up. Nice.
Always good to see.
That that's a feel good kind of thing there. So it's not the world is not all shit.
But now back to the shit. Unfortunately.
I know.
Oh, right. Let me get it up. There we go.
Yeah. By the way, I'm right there with you. I saw this at work, and it got me. I got a little verklempt. Peter says helicopter tours for $5. Yeah, it's peanuts to a billionaire, but this guy is old. What is scarier is the younger generation in the positions with 60, 70 years left to wallow in misery. There is a reckoning coming for our system. Let me just be real quick. I mean, guys, I apologize. Well, all of us are young. I don't know. We may have some older folks in the chat, but most of us are all younger than this guy. And if you're 20 or 30 years old, and then it is absolutely within your power to start saving money in order to, keep yourself. I mean, you don't rely on any fucking pension, whether it's a government pension or a corporate pension. Do it yourself. Take care of yourself. If you do it that way, I swear that's the best way to, Joe, part of it is preparations. Part of it is, it's not just savings. It's also stuff, right? Like if you can't rely on anything. And the pensions, are a perfect example of that. I mean, let's be honest. GM should have been as a gold-plated a company for a pension to be safe as any in America, and yet here this guy is. Yeah, you have to buy your retirement. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and the government, as Laserhand points out, wants to come for your 401ks and IRAs because they want to raid that money too.
Yep.
Hey, just understand this: the world as you know it is gone, and you have to be living in the world that we're in today.
This is 100% right, Joe. You are right on the money.
And on that note, this site right here can help you.
Tactical-wisdom.
Tactical-wisdom.com. You can learn a few things about living in the world that you have rather than one that you should have. We have in a week and a half, we have winter survival course coming up. We're gonna build some winter survivals. We're gonna talk a little bit about firecraft and talk a little bit about the unique aspects of survival that apply in the winter. So that's going to be kind of cool. The following month, we're going to do winter fieldcraft and combatives. And I think after that, we're back in North Carolina for the spring, well, I guess the winter scout course, and good times. We'll be finalizing the schedule for the rest of the year or the first half of the year pretty quick here. This weekend, I'll be at the Kalispell Gun Show. I'll have a table there with books to sell, radio pouches to sell, and all kinds of other good stuff. Listen, if you're in the market for a pouch for your handy AR-152 radio, I have them, and we will get you all squared away with that. So check that out. Log in on my website and send me a message, and I'll tell you what colors we have. So that is about it. Buy some books. I mean, Tactical Wisdom books make a great gift, but really the way that the Postal Service is, if you don't order them before the 10th, I can't guarantee you're going to get them by Christmas. So
Yeah.
If you want signed books, order them from me. If you want books fast, order them from Amazon.
Well said. Well said. I mean, Joe, I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't want, wouldn't want a little doodad, little signature, little personalization from Joe Dolio himself. I mean,
come on, man, a little signature on there. It doesn't mean anything today, but when the FBI shoots me, it'll be worth $3.74 more.
Yeah. Talk about
It's an investment.
That's exactly right. All right. I'm cleaning up my tabs here. I got out of control. All right.
Squishy, be careful. I'll find you. I know where you live. I got a pretty good idea.
It's literally a squiggle. Joe, let's talk about the RMR. You hinted at this the other day. Brushbeater's got an RMR for pistols, and I guess you could mount it on other things too, but it's mainly for like the back plate on handguns, right?
Yes. It's when it fits in the RMR plate right there on your handgun. It doesn't even require an adapter plate. Screws right in like
there it is
on Glock 19 clones, or on that it's an FNP, or on the Ruger RXM. Fits right on there, direct mount. It is a great sight. I guess the first batch we have, even though that shows a green emitter, they're all red. So we'll get the green emitter ones in there. I've been using this for I don't know 3 months now, and it is a fantastic pistol optic. Good stuff.
Yeah, I tell you, Matt's just really knocking it out of the park and doing everything he can to become literally like if you're not unless you are gonna go pro level on your optics and all that kind of stuff, and pro level money, by the way, if you want almost pro, I guess prosumer is a good way to, it's really high end stuff, but it's not high end prices.
I want to say that these are pro optics. They're just at a great price.
Well, right. And so they're actually made by some of the same companies that make other name brand things, So I don't know. I don't want to get too into the weeds on that, but it's definitely, you're getting high quality stuff for this, and you're getting at a great fucking price. So W Daisy Girl, correct. Use code CFC10 at Brushbeater for 5% off. All orders $100 or more are shipped for free.
And listen, he's liquidating all of his AGM Wolf 14s. That is a fantastic PVS 14 to get you started with. It's Generation 2 Plus, and you can't tell the difference between it and Gen 3. So,
Yeah, sorry, Watcher, you can't afford one, so
I know, but ooh.
don't even think about it. Don't even tempt yourself with it. I'm just
ordered a Jambia yesterday. Yeah, the Jambia is nice. It's AK specific sight. It's fantastic. 3x30. Good stuff.
all right. Let us move on to our main topic here today. I still have the original title on the. That's funny. The original title was Somali Butt Pirates in Djibouti. All right. CBS News article: Treasury investigates whether Minnesota welfare money went to Somali terror group Al-Shabaab. So, bottom line up front, looks like there was some chicanery going on inside Minnesota, and that Tim, what is it? Tim Waltz is his name? Yeah, Tim Waltz may have had a hand in directing that money in order for it to ultimately end up in the hands of Somali terrorists. The Trump administration is looking into whether Minnesota tax money found its way into Al-Shabaab, the U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization and Al-Qaeda affiliate based in Somalia. Bessent wrote on X that the Treasury is investigating allegations that under the feckless mismanagement of the Biden administration and Governor Tim Walz, hardworking Minnesotans' tax dollars may have diverted to the terrorist organization. The Treasury Secretary shared a November 19th report in the conservative publication City Journal that alleged millions of dollars from Minnesota state welfare programs and had ultimately landed in the hands of a terror group, Al-Shabaab. Let me be honest with you guys. Like, whether this is like it happened because he was directing the money to go specifically to the group that ultimately sent it to Al-Shabaab, or whether it's just mismanagement and ignorance on the part of Tim Walz, I don't give a shit. It happened on his fucking watch. He needs to be. The buck stops with me, right, at the governor's office. So this guy needs to be on the hook for this whole deal.
Yes. There's all kinds of children's charities and Islamic community charities and all that, and they all end up going back to various Middle Eastern terror organizations. There's several Muslim children's charities based out of Dearborn that went back to Hamas and Hezbollah. Same thing in Minneapolis, all these different charities going to Al-Shabaab. There was also the situation with the kids with autism. The money went to various places other than kids with autism. When you looked at the building, there's no way it could have housed as many kids with autism it claimed it was feeding every day. And then the money went to a variety of people in the Minneapolis area just as cash. So bad stuff. Bad stuff.
I should stop being surprised when I see this stuff, Joe, but I still, to this day, I expect people to do the right thing, I guess, as a default setting. And so when I see things go this wrong, it just,
Well, no, but here's the thing.
I keep forgetting that politicians are crooks, I guess.
Well, but in this one, it for sure and unquestionably went wrong on purpose, because we also had the watchdog agency for the state to come out and essentially blast Tim Walz directly and give a bunch of evidence before they somehow got banned off of X, stating that they had brought evidence of this to him as soon as he became governor, and he not only didn't act on it, he has systematically acted in retaliation against every single whistleblower as well as anybody at their agency who's tried to follow through on anything.
Yeah, so it not only did it happen, but then they have actively covered it up, and pointed the other way.
Yep.
Uh, doo, 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 doo. Just kind of finding my way through this story here. This is the first time I read this one. Many of the defendants in these alleged fraud schemes are members of Minnesota's large Somali community, and a Somali American former investigator in the Minnesota Attorney General's office wrote in an opinion piece last year. The former investigator, Keisha Magan, added that community members are also frequently victims of the schemes. President, of course, because immigrant communities always, the number one victims are their own people, but then it always gets bigger. President Trump has repeatedly lashed out against Somali immigrants in Minnesota, claiming in a post last month that the state has become a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity and announcing an end to temporary deportation protections for Somali people in the Midwestern state. Last week, the president alleged without evidence that hundreds of thousands of Somalis are ripping off the country and ripping off our once great state. I think this is a good opportunity for us to transition to the next story, the CNN story here, because this basically picks up right there. ICE to launch operation targeting Somali immigrants in Twin Cities, federal official says, as Trump calls community garbage. Okay. I mean, if the shoe fits, right, guys? New immigration and customs enforcement operation in Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota, will target undocumented Somali immigrants, a federal official told CNN on Tuesdays. As the president has ramped up attacks against the community in recent days, the New York Times, which cited documents and an official who spoke anonymously, was first to report on the operation in Minneapolis. The latest federal immigration effort comes as Donald Trump ended his cabinet meeting on Tuesday by asserting that he does not want Somali immigrants in the United States. He referred to the community. Now, by the way, notice that's not a quote. That's their kind of summation of that's what they heard him say, not what he actually said.
That's because what they were listening for.
Exactly right. He referred to the community and Minnesota Democratic Republican Ilhan Omar as a Somali immigrant. A Somali immigrant as garbage who should go back where they came from. Well, Ilhan Omar is absolutely a garbage person.
Yes, and she should go back where she came from.
And she should go back. And she should be deported for immigration fraud with her brother. They can go get married in Somalia because I'm sure that's not illegal over there. The president's remarks represent an escalation of his attacks against Somalis, particularly in Minneapolis. He has singled out Somalis.
Hold on. I got to back you up. Go up and read his other quote. Because I
missed it. Yeah. I don't want them in our country, he said. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and I want them in our country. And we don't want them in our country.
Having been to their country, it does indeed stink. Literally. Right? And so it is a statement of fact that country stinks. Their country is no good for a reason because they continue to fight each other and refuse to do anything to fix it. Everyone's so busy trying to get theirs in Somalia that nobody wants to fix the problem. It's better to run on dysfunction.
It's paragraphs like the next one that are the problem with modern media. Listen to this paragraph. The president's remarks represent an escalation of his attacks against Somalis. Now, first of all, they're not attacks, they're statements. You could say a statement attacking the reputation or something like that, but an attack is not speech, right? It's not an attack. He repeatedly singled out Somalis since last week's shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C., even though the alleged shooter is an Afghan who had nothing to do with Somalia.
You're conflating 2 things. Just because he said something after another thing doesn't mean it was related to that.
He was talking about Somalis, and Somalis were in the news prior to the shooting even happening.
Right.
Because the Somali immigration is so fraught with fraud, going back to the Clinton era when they started really importing those large numbers of Somalis in. Let's see. Let's go. I think the next one is the video, right? Let's watch this video. These are what the local officials are saying. So this is a mix of the local officials speaking and Fox. This is from Fox News, so there's some commentary in here too. So let's give it a listen.
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911 and you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, we very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report, and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document, whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if that there's law enforcement present or not. And that's something else, that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing, that we will document and report these types of things anytime that we hear it, and reminding our officers of their duty to intervene. So if there is anything that is, a violation of someone's human rights or civil rights, excessive force or anything like that, they absolutely have a duty to intervene as police officers.
100%. 100%. This guy is absolutely covering for these people. He's sold us all down the river, really. I think, it's the next one where you get Tom Holman talking about what he just said. No audio.
Look, I'll say the same thing I said to other chiefs of police in sanctuary cities. Shame on you. I mean, your number one responsibility is the safety and security of your communities. And ICE is targeting criminals. So for you not to partner with ICE to make your community safer is shameful. He ought to put his badge in the desk drawer and walk away, because he stopped being a cop, become a politician. If a true law enforcement official would work with ICE, okay, look, I don't want to be an immigration officer. I'll leave that to you guys. But when we have an illegal alien public safety threat in the community, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with you. I want to help you make my community safer, because the chief of police, that's my number one responsibility. If he wants to watch, stand aside, do it. But if you cross that line, Pam Bondi and her U.S. attorneys are waiting to prosecute anybody that impedes law enforcement, ICE law enforcement, border law enforcement in doing their job. Zero tolerance for impeding ICE in their operations.
Impeding ICE meets the exact legal definition of sedition, especially doing so while armed. And I just got this thing that I always say about senior cops who wear leather jackets or other tactical field gear when given a statement. You just disregard them. Much like Kash Patel wearing a raid jacket while he's giving a press briefing, like he was just out kicking down a door, or DHS Barbie and her antics,
So the next video is just a regular dude in Minneapolis and his kind of impression on things since the Somalis kind of expanded like mushrooms overnight in Minneapolis.
I'm from Minneapolis, and Somalians are just part of the culture here. As far back as I can remember, I've always seen Somalians. And in these past 5 years, the population increased so much. It went from seeing them to them feeling like the majority a lot of places that I go. And also over the past few years, I've noticed that I see a lot of them with new cars. So I'm a handyman, and I worked on a lot of Section 8 housing to make sure they're up to standard. And one thing I've noticed when I go see Section 8 houses, one, it's usually a Somali family. What I mean, usually it's 9 times out of 10. And those houses usually have new cars in the front. I mean, cars with an S, multiple new cars. And what I mean usually is like 8 out of 10 Somali houses, I've seen that. And I always wondered how someone on Section 8 can afford multiple new cars. I just couldn't put it together. So now finding out about this fraud stuff makes so much sense. And you know who I feel bad for, other than me for paying for that shit with my taxes, is Somalians who came here on the up and up and who didn't break the law. Because as a black man, I know how it feels to be judged because someone else with your same skin color did some stupid shit that you wouldn't approve of. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but one thing I do know is I've been saying for years we need to kick Tim Walsh out because he knew about this shit from the beginning.
I got some bad news for him. He's a Republican. He just doesn't know it.
He just doesn't want to admit it. You know.
So
Yeah.
you know about the cars is it's very easy to get brand new cars in a credit market with a clean social security number. So,
which is what they have. You know,
Yep.
if the problem for guys like that is that it's less about bad credit and more about no credit.
correct. And there's it's an economic opportunity zone. So the lenders get special consideration from the government and kickbacks and guarantees if they give loans to these people that they probably shouldn't be giving loans to.
Yeah.
It's kind of how we got a housing crisis the first time. But
Yep. It's kind of
Allegan News makes a great point. Cops force mask mandates. Now they're upset when cops have a mask on.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's
Well,
absolutely-
heaven forbid a terrorist organization starts, like literally going after cops for,
Well,
for
my
who they
favorite
are and where they live.
my favorite part of this is he's trying to make it sound like, oh, we can't tell that they're ICE if they're masked. Yeah, it's not like ICE coordinates with you at all, or there's other ways to tell whether they're ICE agents or not. And it's also not as if somebody couldn't impersonate the police officer not wearing a mask. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. He's thinking he's going to skirt the law by saying, I'm only saying if they have a mask on, but that's not what he meant. So,
I think is that the last one? No. So if you want to know what we were joking about the thumbnail earlier being an accurate representation. I mean, it's not that far off, if I'm honest. Thank God they don't have technicals in Minneapolis. But here is what the actual Somali mobs look like and what they're dealing with on a regular basis. I mean, this is, if you live in an American city, this shouldn't be completely unsurprising to you. This just happens to be foreign invaders, colonizers doing it versus Native Americans. And of course, the bystanders are just totally gleeful.
what was the purpose of the assault?
No purpose that I could tell. I mean, to read the tweet, it's basically just a random assault by a large, like one or two members of a large group of Somali urban Utes.
Utes.
That's right.
I tell you, if somebody's throwing one of those wild punches at somebody, if you walk by and throw your arm up, they're going to go for a flight. It's very simple.
Yeah, you don't need to be like Bruce Lee to be able to counter most of the things that they do.
Yeah.
Literally, outer circular blocks will probably handle 90% of these type of things. All you just got to do is keep your eyes open and be ready for it.
If you block them and their momentum's going forward, they're going to pivot on that. And if you just chop that leg closest to you on the way by, they're going to be on the ground, and you can just keep right on walking like nothing happened. I know a guy who teaches that class, so we're doing it here in January. All right.
Very good. Just make sure that heater's working.
I know. I'm about to go put on a sweater right now. It's a little cool in here this morning.
I tell you what, it's cold as shit today here in Korea. I would say it was probably in the low 30s. But when the wind kicked up, I mean, it was just like hateful. I mean, hateful, Joe. And then like I can't. I know the helicopter, hovering about a quarter mile away is not pushing enough air to be affecting me directly as I walk across the parking lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is.
Right.
Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 from personal experience. Many attacks for the fun of it. Yeah, it's like I dare you to go hit that dude or whatever.
Listen, I really hope they attack me because they will realize that was not very much fun at all.
Yeah, and then once they pose a threat to life, limb, or eyesight, then it's.
But here's the thing: they don't attack guys like you and me. They don't attack people who appear to be alert, appear to be prepared, and ready to go. Right? They don't attack those people at all. They pick someone who's totally not paying attention, lost in their phone, and whatever. Hey, let's do Pinochet's because I will give you you have two options here: the short answer or the long answer.
Pinochet's helicopters for $2 over on Rumble. Joe, what role does Halawa lend? Oh yeah, I know what we're talking about now. Lending play in these areas. What are the feds? It's on Halawa style lending, or are they bilking with no intent to repay?
Let's first discuss what a hawala is. A hawala is not lending. Hawala is jihadi. I guess let me just say haji, not just jihadi, but is haji Western Union. We called it Eastern Union when I worked for a task force that worked on it. Hawala means basically I go into Scott's store and I need to get some money to Watcher. And I go, hey, Scott, here's $5,000. Get this to Watcher. Scott calls somebody in Watcher's town and says, hey, Watcher's going to come in. Give him $5,000. I owe you $5,000. And the money changes back and forth that way with no records whatsoever. Hawala lending plays a massive part in terror funding and moving money and large amounts of cash back and forth between the Middle East and the U.S. As we all know, and we talked about on Twitter just the other day, you can't cross the border with more than $10,000. It's not illegal, but they want to know about it so they can tax it and figure out where it's coming from and where it's going. But the Hawala network completely goes around that. And you might say, yeah, but then what's the enforcement mechanism for a Hawala if I never get my money? It's pretty simple. They will come and kill you if they don't get their money. So Hawala lending doesn't pay any part in buying cars and buying houses, but it does play a huge part in terror financing. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, because of the lack of anything that's not regulated is open for all kinds of abuse if somebody is willing to look.
Yeah, because when I walk into a med store and I plop down $7,500 for my cousin Ahmed, nobody asks me where I got the money or what it's for. It just goes there, right? Western Union, you got to fill out the whole form, and then somebody can come in and read that form later. There's no form at a Hawala. There's a telephone. So.
All right, let's see.
Here's another one from Squishy.
Oh yeah. I said for $2. What do you say when entering Minneapolis, Irene? My sister, Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 says, my sister says Mexicans loan similarly. Yeah. So there are all these kind of informal money networks within, within these minority immigrant communities. Because
I said that too when there was some talk about taxing remittances. So all you're going to do is create a Mexican Hawala network. They'll just stop using Western Union. They'll just start calling each other and moving money. And in fact, the vast numbers of Hezbollah and Hamas guys that are in Mexico will say, hey, let me teach you guys how to do this, right? So.
All right. That's all we got on Somali butt pirates. So war is in the air. So we kind of already hinted on this with some of the Putin stuff. But this is kind of going to go more into, the war we're all expecting, right? The one that's kind of like, the other shoe is just ready to drop. And of course, we're talking about the Caribbean War with Venezuela. This first one up is, oh my God, Joe, this family is upset that we blew up their loved one. As all he was doing was driving a boat with drugs on it. He didn't hurt anybody.
He's just trying to get some bread.
Family of Colombian man killed in U.S. boat strikes files formal complaint. The family alleges that. What's that? With whom?
With whom?
Yeah, I guess the embassy, maybe. The Trump I'm sure there are a bunch of bleeding heart liberal organizations that are helping them do it. The Trump administration committed human rights violations in its campaign against. Okay, so they put this is the Washington Post. They put this out here, okay, as a statement, not even in the story. This is literally the secondary headline. Let me read that again.
Reads the story. They just read the headline.
The family alleges that Trump administration alleges, right? That's how they legally cover themselves. Committed human rights violation in its campaign against suspected drug trafficking. Okay. So this family, and you can see this lady here, what she looks like. She's obviously a rural Colombian urban scholar.
Something's up with the article. It won't scroll down for me.
Oh, that's weird.
And they're obviously very poor and struggling for food.
Well, the picture of her is worth the price of admission. And if you look at the gentleman behind her, I mean, this guy obviously was summa cum laude somewhere. They would know what they're probably preeminent experts in Colombia on human rights violations. Lord knows the Colombian government has violated the rights of plenty of humans. Let's see. He was a 42-year-old fisherman, was killed September 15th by U.S. military strike off Colombia's coast. The complaint was filed by his wife and 4 children. The lawyer said in a phone interview, Daniel Kovalik, that's definitely not a Colombian name, said in a phone interview that a grieving family had been left without their chief breadwinner and were facing threats after speaking publicly about the case. Threats from who? Who's threatening?
Threats from who? They want you to think that Donald Trump is sending the local mafia after these people.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. It's like we've got some sort of orchestrated campaign of intimidation and harassment of these people. Let's see. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is facing scrutiny over the extent of his involvement in the September 2nd strike that required an additional attack to kill 2 survivors. No, they are misstating the facts, and the facts are that they were told to disable and destroy the boat, and the first missile didn't do that, and so they shot a second missile. I guess I don't know if they're missiles or guns. I don't know I assume it's missiles because that's what we've been seeing. And so they shot a second missile and then destroyed the boat. If there were 2 people on board, that's great. If they died off and they survived and got eaten by sharks later, that's great too.
I like to how everyone's citing, we don't shoot people who are shipwrecked. Like these guys got lost in a storm and ended up on an island.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah, these 2 guys aren't freaking Jack Sparrow drinking rum on the beach with his girlfriend. These guys are
I also like there's so many points of this. I know that it's hard to address them all, but can we just address the point that hey, guess what? If a terrorist gets injured, you can kill them. That's part of war. There is no law saying, hey, we did a drone strike on a target over there in Afghanistan, but they're injured. Now we got to, hold that second one, boys. We got to send guys in there now to arrest them. That's not how shit has ever worked.
Right.
I'm kind of getting sick of this one. I want to. I saw some. Let's see. All right, I'm just trying to see if I can find one of these because I saw several really good kind of opinions by people with a lot more experience in this matter than I do, as to how these types of attacks work and why they're legal. If you guys have one maybe that you shared or you saw, just drop it in the private chat.
I didn't need a meme or a tweet to tell me that, because I just knew it was okay and legal.
Well, I know it's okay
like
too,
every
but I
strike
like
I've
to
ever seen ever.
I like to back up my opinions with people
With
who know a
tweets?
lot more about this stuff than me.
What's crazy is that there's a bunch of people, like there are a bunch of generals opening their yaps about this, that the second you look into their history, like one of them was a dude who flat out ordered a bunch of Iraqi army during Desert Storm to just get hosed. Like they were already surrendering and he just fucking hosed them.
Yeah. Well, one of the real reason, Joe, that I like these is because they usually have like footage of like of AC-130s, like absolutely just hammering over and over
Right.
and over and over again. The same targets. Hit it again. It looks like some movement. Hit it again. And it's like nobody ever fucking screamed war crimes over this. Yet, you blow up a boat and you kill these guys. So it's not like they're wounded and suffering. No, those guys are gone. Anyway,
it shows that a boat full of drugs is every bit as lethal as a bomb.
No,
So,
if you look in
go ahead.
if you look into American drug deaths in the Civil War, currently we stand at more drug deaths than the American Civil War, and that's just over the last 5 years.
Yeah,
which was our bloodiest war in
And if you draw the line from what's going on now all the way back to Pablo Escobar and all that kind of stuff, this is a war that's been going on for almost 40 years now. And if you look at the amount that have died since then, I mean, you're getting close to over Vietnam, over Korea War, into like World War II type of territory.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's
because all the drug deaths count as deaths by these people.
Yeah, and I could go on about that for quite a long time, to be honest. But it's the people who say it aren't saying it out of a genuine frame of mind. They're saying it because they want to destroy your country because it makes it easier for their communist revolution.
And it's the same people who say we have to take all of the guns if it saves just one life. We have to kill all the drug dealers if it saves just one American life.
That's exactly right. And let me be honest, Joe. I do say that an American life is worth more than the lives of these degenerate drug mules that are. Oh, he's just an innocent fisherman making a little extra money. Well, he shouldn't have fucking did that. It's kind of like, you remember the old Lonesome Dove show? You ride with an outlaw, you hang with an outlaw. It doesn't matter if you're just riding with him. You hung around with him. I mean, how do we know what you did and didn't do?
Hey, do you know why you made a whole bunch of extra money running drugs? Because there was a risk you might get killed.
That's right.
Right. No wonder it's the best job in the area, because you make more money because you might get killed.
All right. I'm not going back to that fucking story. Trump officials say second strike aimed to destroy drug boat instead of crew. So, all right, this is The Guardian, and I found it really interesting that this was, I think, a very accurate headline from The Guardian. Trump officials say second strike aimed to destroy drug boat instead of crew. Officials hew closely to secret memo which gives legal cover to firing on boats, even if it would kill the people on board. The Trump administration officials have defended carrying out a follow-up strike on a drug boat that killed survivors on the 2nd of September by arguing that its objective was to ensure the complete destruction of the boat, an action the Pentagon had internal legal approval to conduct. The White House press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, said in a briefing on Monday that Admiral Frank Bradley, who oversaw the operation and gave the order to the second strike, directed it to sink the boat. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, also said for the first time at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday that the second strike sunk the boat and eliminated the threat, even though he sought to downplay his own involvement. Now, let's be honest. Pete Hegseth had nothing to do with ordering the firing of this missile. He ordered the operation. He probably approved the legal authorization that allowed these strikes to go forward. But after that, it's in the operational hands. You know, Hegseth does not micromanage these kinds of operations.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Hegseth is in the kill chain anywhere, right? He's not just sitting around waiting for a phone call. Oh, we got another boat, right? So, and I want to know how everyone seems to know magically, even though they weren't there and there are no survivors to tell the tale, that there were guys clinging to the wreckage or that someone survived the initial attack. That's an assumption on everybody's part. So,
yeah, that's 100% right, Joe. Framing these strikes as specifically targeting the boat, mirroring the language in a secret Justice Department Office of Legal Counsel memo blessing the strikes, officials technically put the attack in the firmest legal ground since questions surfaced about the incident. According to 3 lawyers directly familiar with the matter, the OLC memo says it is permissible for U.S. to use lethal force against unflagged vessels carrying cocaine since the cartels use the proceeds to fund violence. The reasoning goes that the cartels are in a so-called armed conflict with the allies in the region and part of the collective self-defense. The United States can destroy the cocaine on the boats to choke off cartels' money supplies to buy weapons. And perhaps most critically for the administration, The Guardian previously reported the OLC memo said that the fact that anyone is on board would likely die from a strike does not make a boat an improper military target. This is absolutely correct.
100% true. Why did we kill insurgents whenever they gathered? Because we wanted to make it not a very attractive thing for people in the area to do. Man, if I join with those guys and I go to their camp, I might get smoked because their camps are getting blown up.
I
don't want to do that job anymore. Same thing here. If running a boat for the cartels might get you killed, stop.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
The fear of jail is not nearly as bad as the fear of getting killed. So,
yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's a lot of reasons why you do strikes a certain way, but this is, ultimately on the base bones. When you rationally and legally target these boats, the people being there is not germane to the target or to the question. You're going after the target. When the target's eliminated, the target's eliminated.
Collateral damage is a thing.
It is absolutely a thing. And when you put yourself on that fucking target, that's why they call it a Darwin Award. Of course, that memo is criticized by outside experts, yada, 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 whatever. I just don't buy it as something that is even.
There's a good point raised in the chat by Just Me Texas. Joe Biden droned a janitor and got less consequences, right?
Yeah,
Obama droned a 16-year-old American citizen and got less consequences.
Yeah, I can't get mad about that because that kid was on the field of battle. I can't.
No, I hear you, but what I'm saying is
the same way,
they
right?
Reported like it got mass reported on, and there was even less blowback than a couple of drug dealers.
Yeah.
I mean, and so here's the thing: this type of limited warfare. Now, here's the thing: Joe, you and I would definitely like a formal finding from Congress, actually, we'd like a declaration of war against these organizations, but without getting that, they're still legally able to hit these targets legally. I mean, it's not like a question that the president can or cannot do. This is one of those kind of like stopping an enemy in the commission of essentially an essential act of aggression against the United States people. The one thing that I haven't done, and I don't know why they don't try to do this, is call cocaine and fentanyl weapons of mass destruction.
That'd be the way to handle it, right? Because
I think so too. Because that would just transporting that alone would be a kind of a.
And I don't like to get in the habit of calling Rand Paul wrong, but his statements over the last 24 hours are becoming literally unhinged. Like when he said that war powers reside only in Congress. That's not true. The War Powers Act squarely puts this within the authority of the President of the United States.
Yeah, if you've got a problem with the War Powers Act, you need to write a new bill that and get rid of it.
Look, as a guy who used to like Rand, I'll tell you that the fact that you can basically track what his messaging is going to be by a 12-hour delay from what Democrat messaging is going to be should tell you everything you need to know about Rand at this point.
That's true.
Yeah. He is not my favorite person.
No, Billy Blogs. Fentanyl is indeed not cocaine. Cocaine is an opiate. Fentanyl is a completely synthetic substance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it uses a similar kind of thing as opiates, but it's totally synthetic. It's a absolute chemical byproduct.
Yeah.
All right. Gentlemen, I don't have a whole lot more to talk about. What do you guys think?
I got one thing to talk about, and it's not related to future conflict. But you know who you are, the friend of the show who sent me a case of spam. You sent hot and spicy singles right to my door, and I do appreciate it.
So there are now hot singles in your area.
There are hot singles in my area, and they're ready to meet me. But I want to point something out about the spam single. First of all, this is a great survival food. It is the exact size of an MRE cracker, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, the MRE crackers are legit, dude. I
love MRE crackers.
I'll fight anybody who says anything bad about them.
Yeah.
Like I used to trade M&Ms to get the peanut butter, just so either the crackers or the peanut butter. It was like
I keep crackers and jalapeno cheese in every bag.
I like the crackers better, but everybody hated the bread, and I always thought it wasn't that bad.
The bread is old. It is like new school, nonsense. I think the crackers were way better.
Billy Blogs, spam was in American rations before it was in British, but yes.
That's an American product.
And listen, you know what? Wagon, whatever that is. Yes, the bread, the MRE bread actually is not bad.
Yeah.
And Based Beagles gave me an entire case of jalapeno cheese, by the way.
So. Oh, so good.
All right. Guys, let's just call this one early today because I'm tapering off here a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed that I've been like less focused.
Yeah, you kind of drifting. Rick, cigarettes in the accessory pack, bro. You are really dating yourself because I never got cigarettes in the accessory pack.
Right? Yeah, that's a C-Rats thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Although
I had C-Rats
mini Tabascos, and they went away for a while, and I guess they're back. But
when I was a kid and my dad was in the reserves, I went to the range with him. With his unit, went to the range to do M16 qualification. So I went to the range, and I thought and he pretty much let me carry his M16 around all day, probably sucker. But I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And they had C-Rats that were there. They had chocolate, peanut butter, and crackers in the sea rats. They were in it was like a can.
Yeah.
And so I that's all I remember. And they were these circular crackers because they were stacked in the can, and then there was like a separate kind of can inside that had the peanut butter in it. But and then there was like a circular piece of chocolate, I think, or something along those lines.
Hey, listen, the MRE peanut butter packets, get all of them that you can, because not only is it good food and good protein, it's an excellent fire starter. So.
All right,
Did
Jim.
USA invent spam? Yes. By the way, me and Reverend Browncoat 6, who's in the chat usually, went to the Spam Museum and learned every possible thing about the history of spam. More than we wanted to know. Like, we figured out how tall we were in spam cans, too. So,
hey, real quick before we log off, congratulations, Just Me. Just Me's son made Master Sergeant. That's that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Squishy Hunter charms, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, the charms were the worst, man.
Yeah, like the Spam Museum in Minnesota.
Bad luck.
New soldiers would turn around. New soldiers would take the, like they would turn their stuff over to you, and then here you want my charms? This is candy. Yeah, I'll take the candy. But it was always a sucker's bet.
See, there's that. How many spam cans tall are you? We have photos in front of that. So it's a very cool museum. If you're ever in Austin, Minnesota, first of all, woe your life, because you've made terrible life decisions that put you there. But if you are ever there, you should go to the Spam Museum. It's actually a lot of fun. It's very neat. Doesn't cost anything except for however much money you spend in a gift shop. And there are some things, some spam related gifts that you didn't know you needed until you go there. So,
yeah. Joe, any predictions going into the end of the week?
The left's going to continually get more and more crazy about ICE and about the Hegseth order or lack thereof. Right now, next they're going to say, "Well, he didn't give an order not to, so that's just as bad."
Yeah,
and all of that, and I'm sorry, but the other shoe in Venezuela has to drop at some point. So,
yeah. Watcher.
Yeah, my eyes are on Venezuela, honestly. I can't believe it hasn't already happened, but I think that I think that Trump is essentially doing the whole like, oh, let me give you 3 chances sort of thing, and he has now told him twice that he needs to evacuate or festivities will commence. Yeah, I don't know what he's waiting for at this point, honestly.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we do not have a perfect understanding of what the hell's going on. There are literally 1,001 things it could be that are holding things up. Some of it might be conditions. So, a lot of times it's like they're looking for like starlight conditions, maybe. So like like a full moon, and little things like that can really dictate an operational timeline. So I don't get too antsy about it. I just know that it's really expensive to do what they're doing, and
yes, and ARG and all those other ships just sitting there. 1, it's very expensive. 2, they're not available for something else. So something has to happen. Keep in mind, the amphibious ready group that is there is the one that's supposed to be in the Mediterranean. So it's a big deal that it's not in the Mediterranean.
That it's not in the Mediterranean. That's exactly right. My prediction is I think this Somali thing is going to get out of hand, and I think it's going to turn into a really big deal. I think they're going to find some smoking guns. Tim Waltz is a fucking moron, so I'm sure If the Justice Department can get off their fucking ass, I think it'll be a pretty big deal, but we shall see. All right, Joe. That's all I got. Chat, thank you very much. You guys were awesome. Joe, Watcher, you guys too. Thank you. If you haven't done already, please like the channel, subscribe to the show, or subscribe to the channel and like the show. Hit the bell for notifications. Let people know that you're getting some good stuff over here on the Council for Future Conflict. For Joe and Watcher and all the other guys who, they come in from time to time. Appreciate you guys for being here. And as always, stay safe.